Welcome back to Political Boomstick. We have got a lot to talk about, particularly the communists have taken over in Virginia. And you guys living there, well, they're already starting to do what these people always do. As many of you know, the Democrats won across the board in Virginia, and they are going crazy. So I want to talk about a few of the bills that they have on the docket, how it's going to affect you folks living in Virginia, as well as how they're going to use this basically just as a platform for things nationally. But before we get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would like and share the video. Just take that URL, put it on your social media. It really helps the channel grow. Also, check out some Blackout Coffee. Use my code, save you a little bit on Blackout Coffee, some great coffee. And also check out the affiliate links down below. Subscribe to the channel also. Can't forget to subscribe. So now, let's look at what's happening in Virginia. Most of you know the Democrats took basically over the government. And we're going to look at beginning with some of the tax increases. And I don't know what it is about Democrats. Every time they get power, the first thing they do is tax everybody. They raise everybody's taxes. And then we see the waste. We see the corruption. Minnesota is a perfect example of that. And I'm sure, that Virginia's going to not be far behind. So what we're going to do, these currently are just some of their proposals. So if you have your representative's number, I suggest you give them a call and let them know you do not support this stuff. One of the first things they're doing, as always, tax the rich. That's what they're saying. Well, it's never worked out before. Okay, so one of the tax proposals is a 10% tax. A 10% tax on anyone that makes over $1 million. Of course. $1 million, you're going to get hit with another 10% tax. Up from the current 5.75 top rate. Basically, it's almost double of what it currently is. And another bill would propose a 7% top rate for income over $600,000. That's another big increase. But again, guys, this is what they do every time they get power. Now, it's not just the rich. And in the reality of it, once they start taxing the rich, which it's already happening, and we've seen the same thing in New York. The people that have their wealth, that have this money, they just leave. They move to other states. And that is exactly what is happening here. It's what's happened in New York. It's what's going to happen in Virginia. And, let's just keep reading because it gets better. Net investment income tax. Any of you guys do any kind of investments? Do you have a 401k? That's an investment. HB, I think it's 378, proposes a 3.8% tax on net investment income for individuals, trusts, and estates starting in the 2027 tax year. There you go, guys. More taxes. But it's not even, we've still got a lot more to go through, guys. We're going to get into what they're going to talk about with guns in particular. We're going to look at a couple of others first, but if you're interested in what they're going to do with guns, stick around. Expanded sales and use tax. HB 978 would extend the retail sales and use tax to services like dry cleaning and landscaping. Basically a services tax. You got a landscaper? Well, guess what? Your bills are just going to go up. The reality of business, and that's why these people they do not understand business. Okay, you would not be, the reason if a liberal understood economics, they would not be a liberal, plain and simple. Because the reality is taxes, when it comes to businesses, is simply part of the cost of doing business. And business owners pass those taxes, those fees along to you, the consumer. Anybody that has run a lemonade stand knows that. Unfortunately, most of these people, they've not even run a lemonade stand. Transportation-related taxes. Other proposals include a new tax to each retail delivery in Northern Virginia and sales tax increase in specific transportation districts. Just more taxes. Now let's look at what they're going to do with guns, because there's a lot of stuff. If you are a gun owner, Virginia is no longer going to be friendly for you. They're going to be a lot less friendlier than what they were previously. Firearms and ammunition tax. There's a proposal of an 11% tax on the retail sale of any firearm or ammunition. It's going to drive your gun costs up. Just because it is a gun, they want to add an additional tax to it. But it gets much better than that, especially when it comes to guns. Let's look at a couple of others. And there's a whole list, guys. And there again, I would encourage you simply to go online, do a search, and trust me, there is a ton of stuff out there. House Bill 271 would ban the manufacture, sale, and import of so-called assault firearms. They're not calling it assault weapons anymore. They're calling it assault firearms. And also, it would ban the magazine capable of holding more than 10 rounds. And again, California, New York, some of these other places, they can tell you all about that. Violations would carry penalties of up to 12 months in jail and a $2,500 fine. Literally for having a magazine that holds more than 10 rounds. And guys, I don't understand how these people keep getting power. And the reality is that one of the ways, unfortunately, is there's too many people that just don't go out and vote. Okay, but it gets better. Let's keep going. House Bill 207 targets suppressors, imposing a $500 state tax on retail sales. And this is just after the federal government ended it. The federal government, that $200 tax stamp on suppressors and SBRs, it's gone at the federal level. Virginia, because of now the Democrats controlling the state government, you guys are going to be paying double that if you want a suppressor. That's there again, guys. I don't understand what their thinking is. They do not reduce crime. These kind of laws do not do anything but harm law-abiding citizens, law-abiding gun owners. And there's more, so we're just going to go ahead and read through some of these. Senate Bill 27, which its companion bill is House Bill 21, would impose vague, reasonable conduct standards on manufacturers, distributors, and retailers, requiring undefined, reasonable controls over how firearms and accessories are made, sold, and marketed. These are extremely vague laws that have one specific purpose. They want to use them to target gun stores and any manufacturers. When they write vague laws like this, it is absolutely nuts. And the purpose of it is simply to go after law-abiding citizens, law-abiding businesses that are dealing in firearms. You cannot deny the fact that Democrats want to disarm the people of this country. And when they disarm people of this country, it's going to be exactly like what you see in every single country where it has happened. Okay. 100% of the time in history, when the people are disarmed, the country is taken over by these leftists. That is something to go look it up. It has happened everywhere. Look what's happening in Australia right now. Look what's happened in Venezuela. When Chavez come in, it is just, again, 100% of the time. And they're trying to do it everywhere they can here in the United States. Senate Bill 38, House Bill 93 as the companion, would strip gun rights from individuals based solely on their prohibited status of someone else that lives in their household. If you have someone, a spouse, husband, wife, family member, or whatever, that is prohibited from owning a firearm, if you live in that same household, you would lose your rights to own a firearm as well. Think about that, guys. Someone that is not even convicted of a crime, just because you live with someone that may have done something, there you go. And I wonder about this one. This is something that don't have an answer to, but I think it's worth asking. If you have someone in your household for example, a family member that is mentally challenged as far as a physical disability, and they obviously are going to be a prohibited person. Could that be used with the way the courts are these days and the way that some of these show trials are done? Could that be used against you if you're a law-abiding gun owner? Would that include you? I don't know. That's a question I think should be asked. House Bill 19 expands the prohibited categories for certain misdemeanors and offenses. And if you read through this one, this is basically people that have the door that it opens here is it opens up for false accusations. If you read through that bill, if someone files an ex for a year after you split up, decides to file something on you, then boom, you lose your gun rights. House Bill 24 threatens concealed carry reciprocity agreements. If you have a Virginia concealed carry license, it's going to affect you when you travel. Okay, that's there again, that whole target of that. It's basically telling a lot of states, nope, we're not going to be recognizing your concealed carry licenses anymore. And in return, those states are going to say, well, we're not going to recognize yours. So that's what's going to happen to you folks in Virginia. House Bill 40 would effectively end long recognized practices of being able to build your own firearms. Okay. And it makes it a crime, punishable. Purchase unfinished frames, receivers before the bill take effect. And it makes it criminalized. I don't know what the specifics are as far as what the penalties are, but I see here in my notes that it makes it a crime. Makes it into a criminal act, basically. House Bill 110 places additional restrictions on keeping a firearm in a vehicle for lawful self-defense. Again, they're going after gun owners like crazy, like they always do. And, again, I don't know why anytime you see power taken by the Democrats in any state government, they do virtually the same thing. And another area that is not getting talked about is the way that they're trying to gerrymander. For folks that are Republicans that live in Virginia, you're not going to have a voice because they're going to gerrymander any representation that you have out. And we've seen this in other states, and it's going nuts in a lot of these Democratic districts. And that's a big danger across the board because, you're not going to have any representation. And one of the things that's happening in some of these places, and it's why flooded in a lot of illegals, ever since COVID, what has happened because of the restrictions as far as how some of these cities, these Democrat-controlled insane states have done, people have fled from them. And what they have done is they've lost the number of people. And that being said, as they go through and they do the census, when the census is done, they're going to lose representatives and they're going to lose power. So what they've done to try to gain that back is they flooded these cities with illegals because the census only doesn't care whether it's citizens or not with the way that it was done, which that's a crock. But basically they count everybody and it gives them electoral power. People have left. And what ends up happening because of these taxes, the wealth earners or the wealth creators, when they leave these areas, it just flows downhill time and time again. All the millionaires leave. Well, the people that have a few 100,000, they're going to start hitting them with those taxes. When those folks leave, the middle class is going to get hit. That's why these communist ideas, these socialistic Democratic Party ideas that they push everywhere they gain power, always end up destroying the middle class. Look at any socialist government on the planet, and it is the exact same scenario. That's how it always works. It is literally a bullet point that you can go through play by play, time after time. These same tactics are exactly how a lot of these leftists gain power and solidify their power once there and end up destroying the country, the state, whatever it is that they've taken over. But guys, this is just a few of the things that I wanted to talk about in this video. Again, I would appreciate it if you would like and share the video and subscribe to my channel because this is a new channel, guys. If you haven't noticed, it's a new channel. I'm trying to grow it slowly, and I would appreciate your help. But guys, also be sure to check out the Blackout Coffee. Use my link. You check out all the affiliate links down below. Thanks for watching. Check out the channel. Check out my other videos, and we will see you next time. If you carry or keep a firearm for self-defense, you already know the truth. The fight doesn't end when the shooting stops. After a defensive incident, the legal system starts moving fast, and every word you say matters. That's why I trust Attorneys on Retainer. One call puts you in contact with a real attorney immediately, day or night, because the right move after self-defense is legal protection. Sign up today using my code and save on your membership.